What's up, XDefiant fans? It is Preach as always. Today's video is completely subjective, as these are simply my own opinions. This isn't exactly a right or wrong topic, but heavily leans into personal preferences, and I understand that everybody has their own, and that is why they are called personal. Today I'm going to rank the game modes that were in XDefiant at launch before new modes start getting added in the coming weeks and months. I'm going to rank the modes from worst to first and tell you why I like or dislike these modes within XDefiant, and then if we have time, we may discuss the modes that were confirmed to be coming to XDefiant in the near future. But before we jump into these rankings, you already know what to do. Smash that thumbs up button, subscribe if you're new here, and turn those bell notifications on if you want to know every time I post a new video. Alright, there are 5 total game modes within XDefiant, so we're going to start with the game mode that I have ranked 5th in my list, and we can truthfully say that it made my top 5, even though it is the worst one in my opinion. Number 5 for me is the game mode Zone Control. Zone Control is a round-based zone progression mode where for the first half of the game, you are on either offense or defense, and for the second half, you swap with the other team. While on offense, you are trying to capture zone points by being on the zone itself with your character, while on defense, you are trying to keep the offensive team away from the zone. The first offensive team will play until 100% capture or until the time limit is reached, and then the second offensive team will play until they pass the first team's capture percentage or until the time limit is reached. The protected spawn areas and potential unbalanced length within the offensive and defensive sides of this game are the main reasons that I have it in last place among the game modes in XDefiant here in the preseason. It isn't a horrible mode, but it is definitely my least favorite so far. Coming in at number 4 for me is the mode Escort. Escort uses the same maps as Zone Control and has a similar concept in that the team that progresses the objective farther from a percentage standpoint within the time limit wins the game, and also has a dedicated time that you are on offense and defense. In Escort, however, instead of trying to capture a static zone point, you are trying to escort a moving package along a set path with 2 checkpoints that extend your time along the way until the end. The first team on offense will work against the clock and the defenders to progress as far as they can, and the second team on offense will then have to either surpass the total percentage of progression from Team 1, or if Team 1 progressed 100% of the way, Team 2 will have to attempt to do this in less time than it took Team 1. Both Zone Control and Escort are very linear modes with dedicated spawn points and can be great modes to get a lot of kills and weapon XP because of how long they last. But they can both also have a lot of running from long distance off of spawn, and therefore a lot of time spent in match where you aren't directly engaging in gunfights. Both of these modes can vary from relatively short matches if both defenses are doing well to incredibly long matches if both offenses do well enough to reach checkpoints and extend timers. Coming in at number 3 for me is Hotshot. Hotshot is the most kill-based mode out of all of the launch modes, but it is still objective-based overall, requiring you to pick up tokens that fall from enemies when they are killed, or to pick them up from your fallen teammates to prevent the enemy from scoring with them. So far, that sounds exactly like Kill Confirmed from Call of Duty, but it has a really cool twist. The player who has picked up the most tokens recently within the match will become the hotshot, and any tokens they pick up will be worth 3 for the team instead of 1. But there is another twist. The hotshot also has faster movement speed, reload speed, and weapon swap speed, giving them a huge advantage in gunfights or escaping from gunfights. This is a really fun dynamic, and I have a blast with this mode. The only reason it falls to number 3 for me is that it can get a little slow on the larger maps when enemy hotshots camp the outskirts, and movement is random because there are no map location objectives to drive players into engagements. Something that helps with this is the fact that the hotshot player is always visible on the map via a crown above their head on the minimap at all times, so you can attempt to go hunt them down. Coming in at number 2 for me is Occupy. Occupy is essentially the exact same game as Hardpoint from Call of Duty. There is a zone that is active for 60 seconds and both teams battle over control of this zone. After the 60 seconds is up, the zone will move to another location on the map for another 60 seconds. Each second your team spends on the zone being uncontested by the other team is 1 point toward your score. My favorite aspect of Occupy is that while it gives you a specific area of the map to fight for, constantly driving engagements with the enemy team, that area rotates throughout the game, causing those engagements to take place in different locations from different angles, requiring different strategies to help you win the time for that particular zone. This prevents a lot of repetitive boredom that can come from more static location modes, and also can help a team that is getting dominated in one zone to rotate early and have a better chance in the next zone. Whereas with a static zone, once a team has a solid setup, you may never be able to break it open. And now, by simple deduction, you already know that coming in at number one for me is domination. Domination has 3 static zones on the map that you are contending for, gaining points as your team holds these zones, and you can conquer them more quickly the more players on your team are on the zone. These zones are listed as A, B, and C, with A and C being near the primary spawn location for each team respectively, and B being very near the dead center of the map. The long-standing and most effective strategy for playing domination has been to capture your home zone, either A or C, and the B zone, and to try to keep the opposing team spawning near their home zone, again, either A or C, and killing them before they can get to B. This strategy isn't just for farming kills, although this does work and is a great way to get weapon XP for leveling up your guns. It is also the most effective strategy for winning the game. You can go for a triple capture of every zone, but generally this is going to be impossible to hold and maintain, especially on a larger map, and will cause the opposing team to split spawn, forcing your own team to have to change how they were holding, and potentially to have to fight over your own original home flag, as your triple capture forced the enemy to begin to spawn in your own original spawn. As long as you hold 2 flags to 1, you will be doubling the opponent's score. Personally, the only time I like to touch the third zone is just as bait to get the enemy to rush to it, and they want to avoid losing their home zone, which then keeps the B zone safe for longer. So sometimes I will step in it just enough to let the game notify the enemy team, and then I will sneak off, effectively wasting their time and saving us gunfights at B. Now, here's where some personal bias kicks in. As someone who loves to snipe, the most effective mode for me to have some nice sniping streaks and clips is domination. Because as long as I know what zone the enemy is spawning near, I know exactly where to be looking for every gunfight and can often find multiple enemies coming from the same direction. Now, as I said to start this video, this is 100% opinion based, and disagreeing with me on this is perfectly fine. Everybody has their own tastes and their own preferences in how they like to play the game, and even the weapons you like to use can impact which modes you prefer to play. And in the future, we do have confirmed that Team Deathmatch is coming in, which is exactly how it sounds. It is just kill based. Your team is trying to get more kills than the other team, and whichever team has the most kills at the end of the game wins the game. We are also getting Search and Destroy coming into the game in a future season, or they're calling it a bomb, I believe, in this, where you get 1 life per round. Once you die, there is no respawn until the next round. And I'm looking forward to those game modes as well, and we will talk more about those as they come out within the game. So let me know in the comments below how you would rank the game modes that we currently have within XDefiant. And if you like this video, you already know what to do. Smash that thumbs up button, subscribe if you're new here, and turn those bell notifications on if you want to know every time I post a new video. And I'll catch you in the next one. Preach out.